Dun, 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 dun. The airplane. What's up, everyone? Hello, Twitch and YouTube. This is Gab, episode 28. This is a show all about everything Guild Wars 2. We talk about PvE and lore mostly, but we focus on all of the updates coming with Heart of Thorns. Today, we have April Fools. Precursor crafting, story changes, gold limitations, and much more. First, let me introduce my co-host. To my left is Akasaurus Rex.
I can attack for you! Ow!
Corvus of Corvus Plays.
Yo, what's up?
And Alex of the RPG Shack.
Can't wait to see this.
That's it. That's all you get.
I thought you were going to switch to Moon, Alex.
That's all you get.
You come to moon. If people are good, they get the moon.
Oh. That's if you watch it live. Post-show, there will be
That's if you
Moon
watch it
Alex.
live.
Yeah.
There may be moon on moon action.
What?
Oh.
Nice.
Now then. Anyway.
All right.
I also like can't stop myself from laughing hysterically like a little girl whenever you put the moon on.
It's great.
Very hard for me not to laugh.
So weird.
I love it.
So what do you guys think about April Fools? What they pulled this year?
It was good. I did like it. I thought it was quite. I mean, I don't think anyone expected anything like that, right?
No, I was not expecting that at all.
I think most of the ideas I saw were all about changing the sizes of things. You know, doing the mini player character swap, that kind of thing. This one was quite adventurous, though I do think the fact that they added the Super Adventure Box minis as drops to the Black Lion chests, that got everyone so excited for
That was
SAB,
such
and
a troll.
I think it just like ruined, like, I don't know, a lot of people who would have liked this April Fool's joke probably didn't because they felt bitter about SAB not coming back, so I don't know.
I bet Colin sat in his office laughing his ass off, going, Izzy, they fell for it again.
The steeple-stepped fingers going.
It's kind of fun. Like I've kind of wandered around Queensdale for a bit, going, meow, meow. But it's thankfully it's only there for a day because I think it'd get a little bit old if we were there for the next. What if this is like a 2-week update and for the next 2 and then just take a.
Have you guys seen what your character looks like when they like mine nodes and stuff?
That was the funniest part to me is, well, of course the sound effects, but then doing things like attacking and farming nodes with their arms out. It just looks so goofy.
I saw a JD Shadow's video on it, and like his character was mining, was basically just headbutting the node with his arms up to mine stuff. It's amazing.
Headbanging. I also love the like brown tone that they put into it.
The sepia tone, it's like
great.
old-timey. I think even the audio effects around you are a little bit like.
Yeah, they've equalized them so they're
modified.
really mid-range and stuff like that, so it sounds like an old-ass movie. It's really good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like bobbleheads better, but.
Oh, really?
Bobbleheads was last year. I mean, the thing is, I think with
okay.
bobbleheads, it was more of an optional thing, though, wasn't it? The bobbleheads, was it? Oh no, it was there for the day, and then
for the day it was everyone, and then you could.
They released the item in the gem store, the bobblehead laboratory, afterwards, so that you had the option to.
I think that though a bobblehead lab is going to be more appealing than for the kind of things like buy your very own airstrip in the gem store.
Well, I think there was a thing, data mine. I think was there not like a data mine thing that was basically going to act in the same way as the bobblehead laboratory or something? I'm pretty sure someone found it was. It kind of looked
airplane
like
laboratory.
So it kind of looked like there was going to be a consumable or something you could use to make it like that again. I don't know how legit that is. I just heard someone say it, so
I can
don't
see
quote me on
that.
that.
I can see them doing that.
It's cool. It's like it's a good throwaway thing for a day. Unfortunately, I think that the community were expecting a lot more, and like you were saying, Corvus, the absolute troll of slapping the SAB minis in the gem store.
Oh,
and
God,
everyone was,
I know. It was horrible.
Unless we're still getting it. Unless we're still getting
Well,
it.
that's it. That's why I was.
It's
Don't play with
possible.
us.
It's possible.
Maybe they had. Maybe the April Fool's joke was them tricking us with this for the day. Then tomorrow we have SAP back or
In
something.
2 weeks. I don't know. I'm trying to keep the hope alive.
Keep the hope alive.
It just doesn't make any sense to me that they don't release it now and give us something to do in the meantime when we wait for Hyde. It just doesn't make sense.
Because we're waiting for news and we're waiting for the stability change, the first-person camera thing. Like those, that's what we've got the past couple months. You know, that's all we've had. At least throwing in something, like you said on the Peachy Party yesterday, even if it wasn't new worlds or anything, it was just the stuff we had back in 2013 that would make everyone so happy.
Yeah.
And it would give us a lot of people who, at the moment, I mean, I know we probably all still play it, right? But like, a lot of people will have stopped playing until the expansion because there isn't anything new to do. And I think it'd just be a really good way to bring people in. And I don't really understand, unless they're revamping it and they just want to release it as this brand new thing with new worlds, because obviously the skins are going to be a problem. If the skins are all there and ready to get, then the value's going to go down. They're not going to be as prestigious and all this stuff. So,
Yeah.
But that's to me the value of player tradable skins on the trading post shouldn't be an excuse to not bring what is fairly universally agreed as the best temporary content that ArenaNet's released, at least certainly before Season 2. And just kind of going, well, maybe not. And, you know, Colin has said that it will be back in some way, shape or form at some point. I think what happened was everyone got their hopes up, and then there was a bit of a cheeky thing in the gem store, and then because everyone's just kind of like, oh my god, it's gonna happen, it's finally gonna happen, because it's been 2 years since we first played Super Adventure Box.
It's crazy.
Which is just mind blowing. Like, I don't know where the time's gone.
I want another like 1980s like cheesy commercial of SAP to come out, like almost more than the actual. Like,
I know, that'd
just
be
like
amazing.
another brand new. The graphics.
Stop.
But yeah.
The graphics.
Love that.
If anyone hasn't seen that commercial, there was a commercial when Super Adventure Box first came out, and it's like this retro, like old 90s
So cool.
commercial. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Ritlock costume. Ritlock Brimstone!
And then he's there, he's stroking like the little porcelain cat at the end. Speaking of kitty, it's the RPG
best
cat.
part is like, my favorite thing is like, he walks into the kid's room and he goes over to his desk and he's just like, like knocking all his stuff off. Slams it.
Here, kid, play this. Or like the part at like the very end where he like pokes his head over and he's got like sunglasses and you just hear wow.
So damn good, man.
It's great.
Oh, they need to do an entire TV show like that, like just like a little
I know, I'd
10-minute skit.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But
Yeah,
for the people who are disappointed that Super Adventure Box is not back, Ritlock Rampage is still available to play on the Guild Wars 2
Exactly.
website.
Oh!
Rampage.
And if you have like a penchant for like contra styles of annoyance and hardship in video games, go and play it. It's just so very, very hard.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it's
That it was like actually playable.
oh yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm just gonna go and find Ritlock's.
I think I played it once and just horribly failed at it. And was like, okay, I tried it.
Yeah. There is on Reddit. There's a post from quite a while ago. I think it might be have even been last year, but it's like a Super Adventure Box like nostalgia pack kind of thing. So it has like links to the trailers. It has links to the release pages. It has a link to the game and all this stuff just to help people through, you know, getting over the fact that we don't have SAB anymore, which is sad. It's a lot for a lot of people. This was like their favorite content in game, which is crazy to me, you know.
Yeah.
But like I love SAB,
It's
but
so unique. Yeah,
that's the thing. Like what other MMO has ever done something like that before?
Right? Yeah.
You know?
I would love to
Yeah.
experience it again, just because I didn't fully appreciate it the first. Because it's been around. We've had it twice. The first year it came out, we had it twice, and we haven't had it since. And I didn't fully. It was very frustrating to me. I was very frustrated, and I should have went in with friends. I was just kind of trying to solo it, and so I want to experience it again. And there's people who haven't experienced it at all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
absolutely.
It's just a shame.
It's really weird how they're just so kind of antsy about just saying, yeah, we're bringing it back permanently because everyone freaking loves it. So it's like, why are you guys dancing around this? I can understand you like not revealing stuff about the expansions and everything else, but just bring it out, baby.
I think the only thing that I can really think of is that there's either something technologically that they have to do with it and they don't have the manpower to spare because they're all working on Heart of Thorns. And that's understandable. If they've got the team who were designing all the bits and pieces in Super Adventure Box and are all working on Heart of Thorns content, and that's fair enough, I guess. So
that's why I don't really expect a new world. I just expect it to be exactly the same.
But if the files are there,
right? I don't understand why they can't just turn it on.
Because it's been implemented before, so I can't imagine that it's just like basically like a line of code that links. You know, it basically opens it up to people. Surely they could just. I don't know.
Maybe.
Why would they add the minis? I got so hyped when I saw they added the minis to the Black Lion chest.
As well, which I was
Did
happy
you?
about.
Which one?
Yeah, I got the spider, which is like my favorite one.
Nice.
And is
I don't have
the
any.
best.
Yeah, I'm tempted to buy some keys.
I saw Ink's trying to get one because I think he had
got a bunch
pretty
of
much
them.
all of them.
Yeah.
But he opened what was it, like over 100 Black Lion chests just to try. Oh, it's insane.
I actually got. Yeah. Oh yeah. Go out. Yeah.
I was gonna say I think I've got them all. I managed to get the mini princess, the exotic one.
Nice.
Yeah,
mini princess May or whatever she's called.
Yeah.
And she follows me around going.
It's amazing. This if you hang around long enough, the spider like starts spinning around. There's like a moonwalk and stuff. I was like, yes, this is it. My favorite thing ever.
I've actually got a theory about CJ, about Colin, and I think this is going to be the first time someone has thrown this out. If anyone in the chat is a Discworld fan, whose brilliant creator passed away recently, but in the Discworld there is the patrician of Ankh-Morpork, whose name is Lord Veterinary, and Lord Veterinary is a total mastermind manipulator character who's always like this, and he's just very mastermind and whatnot. But the way that he's described is he looks almost exactly what Colin Johansson looks like. So, my theory is Colin Johansson is the patrician of Ankh-Morpork, Lord Veterinary, and this is why he totally teased the Sab thing, because he's evil and manipulative.
Maybe so.
He's Lord Veterinary.
Could be the mystery. Solve the mysteries, man. Oh, that reminds me, Mighty Teapot put up an April Fool's video today, which was so good, talking about how Inks is in the Illuminati and stuff like that.
What?
and that Heart of Thorns is going to be an hour-long living story episode.
That's why they've shown us the demo just now. It's like, yeah, it's pretty much done. All we've got to do is take this timer off and we're set. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
But no, what I think's really great is people kind of
Sorry.
People kind of expect the the MMOs to do things like Christmas and Halloween and except Wild Star. What? And the Harvest Festival.
what was that?
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
But it's not very often. It's not very often that people do actual things for April Fools. I know there was an article from MMORPG about what MMOs that are doing stuff for April Fools, but I hadn't really noticed it before. To me, Guild Wars 2 is the first one that actually did it.
They do it every year without fail, and that is awesome. They do something. Some of them, some of them not as good. Stick figures I thought was pretty lame, but changing the size of your minis and max. I'm going back to Guild Wars 1 now.
Oh god, that was
changing the
that
size
was
of your minis and your characters, so all the minis were gigantic. Oh, they've done some great ones.
Yeah.
They really do a super job on April Fools, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Because
like I said, it's only a day, too, so people really have no right to get upset about it.
I think it's good. Guild Wars are just really good at their kind of festival stuff. Their kind of calendar events, and I don't know. Just having this around made me think like Halloween. I'd really like to get some kind of new stuff for Halloween this year, and I don't know. And I'm already excited for Winter's Day again as well, even though that was just basically a few weeks ago. But I love this game for that, even in a kind of, a blank space of updates, we're still getting stuff, and it feels alive.
Well, can you just imagine the Verdant Brink with like tinsel and pumpkins all over it.
The helicopter's flying down and like glitter comes out.
That'd be awesome.
Well, yeah, because like with the Halloween event, that was the first time that an MMORPG got me to do PvP, and I actually enjoyed it. It was very hard, but it was like the first time I ever did PvP, and I enjoyed it. Was in the Halloween events.
That's awesome.
It just like it was really cool. So I mean, they do holiday events so good in it. Yeah.
Well, that in general is like one of the best parts of Guild Wars 2 is just how open all of the game modes are. Like, there's options in all of them for anyone who's, if people haven't really played PvP or WoW World, or if people aren't even interested in PvE, there's always stuff to get you started in being interested in that stuff. And I just think, like, I don't know, it caters to everyone so well. I love this game. It's so good.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to, we got an article, a blog post about precursor crafting in Heart of Thorns.
Yes.
Which actually, the thing that surprised me was it was retroactive. You get to craft the current precursors. I thought this was just going to be for the new legendaries and the new precursors.
No,
you get to craft, when Hot releases, they will have a mastery track for every precursor currently existing.
Yeah.
This is what I thought was really, really cool. I had a bit of a Twitter thing to do with it the other day. So for people who haven't read it, what happens is that there's like 3 phases of it, and you have to. This is what I was talking about. I think a couple of Guild Gabs ago about where you get invested in the lore and the story behind the legendaries you're crafting, and it actually happens in the precursor stage. And you have to go off and there's like a stage where you have to go and research your weapon. There's stages where you have to go and do events that kind of relate to it, and then there's a final one where you go back to like the very roots of the weapon and find out its story and that kind of thing. And as you go, you get.
I love that.
As you go, the skins that you get like less knackered versions of the weapon as you go up. So like the first version, so after you craft like the first tier one, which is a non-tradable exotic, you get like this fairly crap looking thing, and then the second tier you get a slightly shinier one, which is also non-tradable.
Yes.
And then the third one you get, which is just like a fairly dull version of the legendary skin itself. Now altogether, 1, 2, 3. This one is
tradable.
Yay!
And those are kind of replacing the current precursors. So, for example, the Legend is the precursor for Bifrost. This wasn't quite specified, but either the second tier, the first tier will be a very rough, dirty version of the Legend. The second tier is going to be the Legend as we know it now, the skin anyway. The third version will be a not shiny version of Bifrost. That is what's going to be tradable. So if you currently have the Legend, I don't know, is that skin going to change into the new version? Because that's the tradable.
Going to go back. Yeah, they said they were going to go back and redo all the skins like that.
Yeah.
So I'll probably log in and get. I'm not even going to talk about it actually.
What precursor do you have again? What precursor? Or I'm sorry. What legendary do you have? I heard you had a legendary.
Yeah.
I'll get some nice Tooth of Frostfang skins, basically. Okay?
Yeah, and you will get all. Yeah,
you'll get all. Frostfang.
Yeah, it's Frostfang.
Stop picking on me.
So you have Frostfang. So when Hot releases, you're going to get all 3 skins before that unlocked because you have Frostfang unlocked. They're not going to make you go through that to get those skins.
Just to get the skins.
Yeah, you already have it, so you'll get all 3 of those skins. Yeah.
Also, didn't they say that once you get the precursor, you craft the legendary like the same way you do now?
Pretty much, yeah. I think,
but the new legendaries were going to be done differently, I think.
Right now,
is that all going to be
the third version? The precursor, the new precursors are going to be tradable only for the currently existing legendaries and precursors.
Yeah.
The new ones coming out for Hot for the new legendaries will not be tradable.
Yeah, it's all going to be account bound. That's it.
This is something that should have been in since launch, and I think I said this originally when the wardrobe update came out, that I'm very, very against the legendary skins being in the wardrobe because it devalues the fact that if you trade them, it's like you can do everything except work towards your legendary and still get a legendary. It doesn't really make sense to me. But having all this stuff account bound, where you've got to invest in the lore, which is something that they're pushing in Heart of Thorns
I
anyway,
love
because you've got to do all this exalted and stuff, mastery lore stuff. You know, building that into getting this precursor, so you understand it, and you just don't go, oh well, I've got 800 gold to spare, I'm just going to grab a Dawn off the trading post.
Exactly. I think it's gonna increase the value of them in kind of a sentimental way. Like you're gonna know this stuff about this, and you've done, like, you're gonna be able to look through the collection you've done and see all of these things you've done, like to get it. It's like a proper workload, which I just think is amazing. And I was always really interested in the kind of lore behind these weapons, right? Legendary weapons, they should have a legend associated with them,
I totally agree.
Right?
Since launch, we should have had stories behind them. Why are they so rare? Why are they hard to craft? And they even described in the blog post that the new skin for the precursor, which is going to be a normal version of the skin for the legendary, they actually said it's kind of before it has the soul put into it.
Yeah.
And then once it's imbued with that soul, with that magic, that's what makes it come alive.
Well, the precursor. Well, you do need the gift of magic to put onto your precursor, don't you? So the magic's not there. No magic, no shiny.
Magic in?
But
I'm actually really hoping. Oh, yeah.
Okay. What's really awesome as well is that you can only craft a precursor this way once
per account.
So once I go and get my spark or my chosen or whatever, I can't do it again. If I want to get another precursor from the first generation, I have to go and buy it from the trading post or pray to RNGesus. I think as Peachy said, the new stuff is going to be completely account bound. You're not going to be able to trade. So anyone that you do see with the new legendaries are going to be. Hey, that guy
went through that work. They didn't just
that
put money
guy
into
did
the
that
game
stuff. Yeah.
Or got gifted it. It's good. Yeah, I love it. I think they should have been account bound from the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
I
do hope
really
it.
Hope for,
go on, Nate.
I was just going to say that my dream, which probably won't happen, but because they have had Tara Strong voice Scarlet, and as a proud brony, I really want to see this, is that I would love to see for the lore and story of the Dreamer, is that like a portal will open up to Equestria and you'll meet Twilight Sparkle, voiced by Tara Strong, and then you'll like go on an adventure with it. No, make that happen, ArenaNet.
Like super adventure, it'd be a pony. What is it?
Yeah.
Diablo? Not the cow level, but the.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the My Little Pony level in Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so messed up. There is no cow level. It's a happy land. Oh my god.
I want to battle with Twilight Sparkle because like she's like battled lots of monsters and demons, so it would totally fit.
There's a lot of cool things they can do with this. I mean, they showed off. They basically the only one they showed off was the moot, right? And so you had to go dance with Jenna and all this kind of stuff, which is cool. It fits the legendary really well. And so like, it'd be cool to see what they do for Twilight or something, and any other legendaries that they add in the game. There's a lot they can do here, and I don't know. I think the best part of this as well is that you're gonna have to go back to these old zones to do these things as well, and it's just another incentive to go back to kind of vanilla Guild Wars, which is good,
I do hope that the new legendaries aren't all kind of jungly themed because of Heart of Thorns. I hope there's a really nice.
Right. I don't think
hope
they
there's a
would
really
be.
cool mix of stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
the
But
thing is that
they'd have to contrast with the existing ones, right?
oh yeah.
So like
yeah,
I can imagine the axe this time will be not icy and it'll be like maybe fiery or that kind of thing.
Just remind me what's the current axe?
Oh, it's Frostfang. I actually have one.
When did you get that?
What was the name of that again? Sorry, it was a Fang.
I think it's Frostfang.
Frost what?
Frostfang.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually have one. Actually,
You did.
yeah, I think I do.
Beef and blah, blah, blah.
Oh my god.
Deary me. But yeah, I think
Even the
well,
dogs are excited.
I think didn't they say somewhere that they're going to go and have a look at like some of the less kind of lore consistent skins? Like, isn't Quip getting a fairly major overhaul at some point?
Potentially things like Rodgort as well. That could do with a name change because that's basically a joke.
Are they
In like
gonna
No, they did have Rodgort staff in Guild Wars 1 though, so it is a fairly established thing. But yeah,
I don't know.
to
It'd
be
be
honest,
interesting.
No, I
just
didn't
want-
hear anything about them actually like redoing the existing ones.
I just don't think it.
Just the
I
new
don't
ones
think-
that are coming out are going to be not silly.
Yeah, I think they were going to have a look at the kind of the less sensible ones and kind of try and shift them back into Guild Wars kind of lore a little bit. So stuff like Quip, maybe the Dreamer as well.
Yeah.
No,
Which-
no, that's must stay the same.
But the thing is, it's like at the moment, if you're like a short bow or like a dual pistol thief or like an NG or that kind of thing, your top tier weapon is like it's essentially like a Fisher Price toy, and it's an expensive
hate
Fisher Price
ponies.
toy.
You just hate ponies.
It's a very kind of shiny and expensive Fisher Price toy, sure, but it's kind of when everyone else is like running around with explosive footprints and blades made of streaming fire, and you're there shooting unicorns. I'd feel a little short.
Don't underestimate the power of friendship, Alex. Don't underestimate the power of friendship. Have you seen what it's done to Discord and all the other badasses in that show?
No, I'm really happy that they're going to create more, and it's not just like they're not just going to create one more set and be done. Like they said, they're going to continuously put more legendaries into the game.
Well, that's
so
the thing.
hopefully
They're rolling
everybody
them
will have
out.
something to choose from.
Yeah, because they're rolling them out slowly.
Yeah.
Like there'll maybe be a couple at launch, and then over the coming months they're going to add the other weapons in, which I thought was quite interesting. And I don't know, you just have to hope that the weapons you want come first, I guess.
Well, hey guys, about the new legendaries, did they say that those will be like actually new weapons, or are they going to be like the current weapons just with new effects?
Just more legendaries for the current weapons, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
new skins.
Yeah.
But it's cool because it's cool just because every class is going to be getting a new weapon, right? So that's just going to be an extra thing to choose from.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I wish they would
Speaking of
start
which-
releasing that. Start releasing
Yeah.
the specialization blog posts. I want to know
Please.
more.
Well, it's coming soon.
Should-
Coming soon. When it's
When
ready.
it's ready. When it's
Pretty
ready.
much.
Should we mention the data mine possibilities of that, with at least in regards to the Revenant? Or,
Ooh,
I didn't hear anything about that. No, we're not talking about spoilers and data mine stuff.
Okay.
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 No spoilers for Peachy.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Yeah. But I think when it was first announced, I did say that precursors crafting was like the thing that I'm seriously wired about with Heart of Thorns. I think it's a good way to go. It's a very good way
fantastic.
to go.
In
Yeah,
that same blog post, it
100%.
talked about map bonuses,
Yeah.
which are interesting. More wheel chests to open. Oh my gosh. That's the one thing about farming silver waste. It's like, you gotta open all of these chests, and it's like, takes so long.
Oh, my heart bleeds. All that extra loot.
All that extra
all the
loot. Boo
stuff
boo, I
I
know.
get.
Okay,
man.
so it's awesome. It's awesome. Basically, on different, there will be rotations across basically the maps across the entire game, not including the starting zones, are going to be on this loot rotation where if you complete events and jumping puzzles and stuff like that in a map, like a certain week, I don't know how the rotation is going to work. You'll get a bonus item. It'll be like a tier 6 mat or a glob of ectoplasm or something like that, like a higher tier piece of loot.
Yeah.
So if if you're working towards getting your tier 6 mats for your legendary and you need the blood, the tier 6
Yeah.
blood, you could look at which map gives you the tier 6 blood as a bonus item, and you go and play that map. It's yet another way for them to kind of spread players out and use their old maps. I love how they're implementing not just, okay, here's the highest tier maps, here's the highest level maps, so everybody's there, once they get to endgame. No, you can be level 80, endgame is going all over the entire map and utilizing the maps they already have. It's brilliant. I love
It's good. It's really like again, it's another like kind of imaginative and useful way to bring people back to the old zones and keep the kind of world active, and that's super good, super duper good, super
But I
mega
think
good.
Something that they mentioned as well. They kind of casually dropped the mention of giant eyes in the loot rotation as well. So for people who don't know, you can't actually get giant eyes in the game at the moment. Because there's the have you seen that wand Immobilis? It's like a scepter. Peach, you'd absolutely love it. It does like sparkles and rainbows and all kinds of crap.
Really?
Yeah. It costs like 1,700 gold on the trading post
What is
because
it
you
called?
can't. It's called Immobilis. I don't even know if there's any on there at the moment, but the reason it's so expensive is because I'm fairly sure you can't get giant eyes at the moment.
Wow. I did not know this.
And
Pardon me.
And they were like, oh, and giant eyes as well, and just like, because they're like, oh wait, sorry, they're in heavy moldy bags, just a super low drop rate, so they might as well not bother dropping, I think.
Yeah, one giant eye on the trading post is 4.5 gold, just for one of them.
Oh my gosh.
So super duper rare.
Super expensive.
I just remembered. Yeah, you would actually adore this one.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've seen people with that rarely. It's the Lucky Charms.
Scepter.
It seems right. I gotta be honest. It seems right up your street, Peach. It seems like they kind of need one.
I think I've actually seen someone dressed as Sailor Moon in game with that wand.
Well, there you go.
Now I need it. Now I need it. Thanks.
But that's the thing, like putting fairly rare bits and pieces like that in there. So I assume there's going to be like lodestones and like giant eyes, sun beads if they want. Although I think they're a karma item. But just basically really kind of nice, interesting bits that are kind of hard to get or that you wouldn't usually directly farm for.
And I like
it's just bonus stuff, and that's
right.
I don't know. It's nice of them to do that. It's gonna help people out, and it means people are gonna be focusing on one place. Like a lot of people jump in, they'll do the world bosses and won't really know what to do. And if people want to farm mats, a lot of people don't know where to go. And if they can just see, oh, I need this one, I'm gonna go play in this map for a while. It's just gonna make the whole system a lot easier. It's gonna be a lot easier for people to just jump in and work towards stuff.
Yeah. What's really going to be great? There's a few fairly low level mats they can chuck in as well. They can chuck sunstone lumps in because you need them for Mordry, I think. You can chuck iron in. Iron is super expensive at the moment because people don't bother farming it, and there's no iron node in your home instance. Soft wood is quite expensive. Platinum is quite expensive. Linen as well. Directing people all the way, all to these kind of mid-level zones where you can get mid-level crafting materials.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it does. So I think that's going to be a really good balance. That it's not people who are farming kind of like the top tier stuff to sell. It's not always going to be like that. It's going to be genuine for people who actually want this kind of mid-tier stuff. That like a scrap of linen is like 5 silver on the trading post at the moment. It's bananas.
Oh my gosh!
It's like for like a level 50 crafting material. It's insane. But having all that kind of stuff in, it's going to be cool. And as well, sorry, I forgot. In dry top and silver wastes, whenever they're on rotation, you're going to be getting geodes and bandit crests. Respectively in those as well, and the option for fossilized insects and that kind of thing.
Sweet.
So that'd be cool. Hopefully that'll get people through their ambrite crafting and that kind of thing a little bit faster as well.
Yeah.
I think it's just good. It'll populate maps that are relatively empty, like places like Timberline Falls. There's never really much going on there, and like the maps that don't have one of the key world bosses in are actually probably going to fill up now a bit more because of this. And it's just, I don't know, like Wildstar has a lot of issues because even people who really want to play it will jump in and see that it's empty and they quit. Like, so if you can go anywhere in game and there's always people there, it's going to be a really good thing.
Mm-hmm. And I like that they can change it. It's on a rotation. It's not set. Yeah. So if they say, okay, nobody is in this area, then they can put, if they finally release something that eats Dragonite ore, which would be really nice, then they could put they could put that, you know, something you need for that in one of those zones that nobody's at. So then they can populate that zone. And so
it gives them good feedback on stuff like, oh, this map had this item, and it was the most popular map, so obviously everyone's wanting this, so we can introduce more ways to spend that so it becomes more popular, or turn it down, or put it in those lower maps where no one's really bothering to go. It lets them control the kind of flow of activity loads, which is great, because it means that we're probably going to it's going to make things easier for us, and probably hopefully bring in more uses for stuff like Dragonite Ore, like you were saying. So yeah, that's a really good change, and not one that, you know, if you ask somebody what do you want changed in the game, a lot of the stuff no one would ever think of to do, and it's just really cool ideas that they have and then implement. It's good. It's good.
What do you guys think about the gold limitations that they're going to implement?
I think it's ridiculous. I've got to be honest. Well, the thing is, the thing is, all that's going to happen is you're only going to be able to buy. I think the limit's like 500 gold a week,
500
isn't
gold
it?
a week.
In mail or through the bank system, the guild bank system. Because the current way that people get around it is that you start a personal guild, somebody drops a ridiculous amount of gold into the bank there once they get the trove or whatever, and then player number 2 takes it out, and that way you've taken money that doesn't go through the mailing system, and that's going to be included as well. And for the thing is, like, now and again you get really big guilds and communities who do big giveaway events. And yeah, I think there was one a couple of years ago. It might have been the first Pink Day in LA in Guild Wars 2, where the winner got like 1,000 gold, or, you know, some kind of ridiculous number like that. And, you know, someone giving away a prize, you know, gets flagged and reported. To me, the problem isn't that people are trading too much gold in game. The problem is that you're not taking care of the problem of gold sellers, the bank websites outside of the game. To me, that's the stuff that needs addressing. I mean, to be fair, I don't think that anyone should be in a position just to fritter away 500 gold, because that's quite a bit of money to me in game. But I don't think putting a restriction on players like that is. It might help, but I think eventually, as gold becomes easier to get in game, as I think everyone can attest to the fact that it has, you know, in 3 years or something, 500 gold could be a relatively small amount.
Yeah.
See, that it's interesting to me, because like I know quite a few people who have like been in guilds. They've been saving up in their guild bank like all this gold that they're going to work towards something with, and like someone else who has access to it's come in, taken all the stuff, and then left the guild. And like, so I can kind of understand that as a security thing. But I mean, for gold, like the cap's 500, but if you get sent more of that, you take 500 for that week, and then it stays in your mail, and then the next week you can take the next 500. So people are still going to be able to buy gold in thousands and thousands of you know,
it's just going to be channeled.
Or it's going to be like Guild Wars 1, it's going to be a certain amount of gold plus ectos, plus whatever.
Yeah, to make the rest up, kind of thing.
High price item. That's what they did in Guild Wars 1.
Well, yeah.
But, like, as well, like, but at the same time, I do get what you're saying. Like, I don't understand why they've not. There's so many gold selling websites out there, so I can understand why it's hard to focus on one of them. But if they threaten to take one down or something and force them to stop, you know, providing that service, the others might follow suit, right? And it could like send a strong message. ArenaNet doesn't want anyone selling gold for Guild Wars 2. I mean, it's in like the kind of terms of service kind of agreement when you make an account. Like, you're not to do that kind of stuff, and so, you know, that they could easily do something about it. But I don't know. Yeah. This kind of seems like it's going to limit stuff, like you said, like fan events where there's huge prizes, that kind of thing. And that being said, they could just be like, well, you know, if you win 1,000 gold, it's just going to take you 2 weeks to get it, or a week or whatever, to take both 500s.
Yeah,
and
I guess.
Sure, that's not that big a hassle, considering it's going to hopefully put a stop to gold sellers. But I don't really understand how it's going to affect gold selling that much.
It's not. They're just going to get more accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, maybe this is to help like slow down the thing, because like they'll have so many like accounts farming gold, and they might be sending like 1,000 gold back to like the main account where they distribute it from or something like that, and so that's gonna like effectively like half the amount of gold they can send back to the base, if you want, ready to sell. And maybe it'll introduce stuff like you want to buy gold from some website, but they can't because they don't actually have enough till next week when the next 500 gold comes in from all these accounts or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just seems like a really weird and out of the way solution to this problem when they could just contact these websites and be like, yeah, we're gonna sue you, dude. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe they have and haven't gotten anywhere.
Well,
because they're
yeah,
like
that
in
could
other
be it.
countries.
Yeah, I think to ArenaNet's credit, the situation in terms of gold farming and botting is a million times better than what it was 2 years ago. I mean, if you ever find some of those old videos of World v World, you just have like a train of bots running around and farming the iron and all that kind of thing. So the situation with the gold sellers at the moment is so much better than it used to be. And yeah, occasionally you get the sporadic kind of half a dozen whispers because a load of people have bought new accounts. But it just seems one of those things that you end up kind of, it's a very, you might end up punishing the players more than you actually help the problem. So, for example, I've got about 800 gold in my guild bank at the moment. So, say if for whatever reason Spark dropped below 800 gold and I decided, hey, I want to go and buy Spark, I take all of that money out of my guild bank and I go and spend it on the trading post. Because I took all of that money in one go out of my guild bank in the same week, my account gets flagged. As
Well,
as
I think it would. I
as a
think it just.
potential gold seller.
I think it just. Yeah, but I think it like prevents you taking more than 500. So you wouldn't even be able to buy Spark.
Right, you wouldn't even be able
until
to
you
do
could take
that.
the
Yeah.
remainder. Which again is a pain because it might go up the next day.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
600 or so, or 800 or so. You know, it's just kind of like. I don't know. It's tricky, right? But then.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then again, like. If you're in a huge guild and you've saved up loads of money, maybe you are doing this giveaway and one of the other leaders comes in and tries to steal that gold before the giveaway, you're going to be able to log on and see, oh, he's taking 500 out, at least the rest's there, and I can kick him before he tries to steal.
That's true.
So it's kind of a security thing.
Yeah, I have heard horror stories of guilds being, 3,000 gold down from their guild account because someone's come in, they've waited 3 days to get their bank access and run out. So there are a couple of good ideas behind it. I just think that it needs a little bit more of a redesign before they try and implement something like that.
I think this is a solution, but but I think it could do with a bit more work. The thing is, I think the problem that I have with this is that like I don't think it's the best solution. But I actually can't think of any other way to do it.
Yeah, that's
you know
the thing.
what I mean?
I'm kind of
And it's frustrating for me because like I would love to have some kind of feedback, right? Like suggest something, but I actually can't think of how else they could do this other than when someone gets reported for gold selling, just check it quick and just ban them straight away and just wipe all of these accounts as fast as possible. But I don't know. Obviously, there's probably not going to be enough resources to do it and to act that fast.
Yeah.
I mean, to ArenaNet's credit, I have not had a gold sell email in months. I can't remember the last time I got a whisper or an email saying buy from pvpbank.com. You're just like, so
Yeah.
that is like the main one I get whispered from.
So they're obviously doing something right, and obviously long may they continue to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to story changes. Changes to the currently existing personal story. Some chapters are being rearranged. Some people, I guess, had trouble with like continuity or like actually getting stuck at certain places, so they're fixing all that. The biggest change, though, is that the final instance, normally you have to do the Aurora dungeon story mode with 5. You have to find 5 people and everything in order to finish your personal story. It is now going to be soloable.
That's awesome.
You can kill Zaitan all by your lonesome.
Woo! Which I don't know. At first, right when I first played through the personal story, I'd never done any dungeons before, and I was like, "Oh, what? Like, I have to do this with other people. What's going on with that? Like, I'd like to just your personal story, right? It should be in kind of personal story fashion on your own,
Right?
With the option to go in with a party." But then again, like looking at it now, I actually quite like the idea that it's this big event. That requires other players because it's like this huge thing. You're taking a dragon down. But I mean, I don't mind. I'm not a new player. I'm not gonna go in and get to that point in the story where it's gonna make any kind of difference to me. No. So if that's what people want, and that's, people would rather go in on their own and do it that way, if they want to, then that's totally cool with me. It's for the people that are coming in and doing it for the first time. So, and it means we're gonna
Yeah.
get cool videos of people doing speed runs of the story. I think
Yeah.
maybe we'll see.
The thing
I
is,
also
it's like
just love solo content too. So personally,
my personal issue with that is that Ara is arguably the weakest of the story dungeons, and
Yeah.
I don't think that someone should be made to suffer through it alone.
Okay,
Like-
I understand that.
I don't mean to kind of bash it for the sake of bashing it. It's like what everybody does, but the thing is, it's a very long dungeon. It's really long. Like it
It's
takes
long and it's easy, and
That's
it's
the
kind of-
problem.
Yeah.
If it was long and challenging, then yeah.
But then
But
no
it's
one would
not.
ever.
It's
There
amazing
are
test.
people who would never finish their personal story. As it is right now, there are people who have never finished it because they don't
Yeah.
want to get a dungeon group together. That's just not their kind of content. So I love the fact that there's an right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
love the fact, and I'm also a person who I like to play solo. I just do. That's what. That's how I am. So
Yeah.
The thing is,
I-
it's gonna be optional, right?
Right,
So
it's
if people
optional.
are like, oh,
if you want to
then
go
why
in
are
with
they
the 5
changing this?
people, then yeah,
Go
it's
for
going to
it.
scale
Yeah.
up for you, and it's going to be just like it was. But if you want to go in solo to finish your personal story by yourself, you can, and I love that the option is there.
And I think they wanted to do it as well because it's gonna mean that all of the explorable paths are just kind of there, ready to go.
Right, and this is just the
It's gonna
story.
make
This
that
isn't the
fun.
explorable paths. The explorable
Yeah.
paths, the only difference there is that they're going to be unlocked from the get-go. Normally you have to do the story mode, and that unlocks the other explorable modes. Now the explorable modes will just always be unlocked.
Yeah.
Not sure for the reason for that.
Well, it's just people. I like when I was leveling my thief, like I wanted to go in and just do stuff in dungeons and stuff like that, but it bothered me that like I couldn't just like form my own party. I had to look around or ask guildies to go in, and then I joined them because of the whole. I haven't unlocked the explorable mode yet, so maybe it's just gonna make it easier for people to do that. If you want to make an alt and like solo a dungeon path, you're gonna have to play through the story first. But now you can just jump in and do what you want, right? Like if it's not limited behind that. So maybe it's just better. That's kind of more for the old players then, I guess. Like it gives them the option to do whatever they want, whenever they want.
I mean, part of my thinking. I mean, again, the weird thing is, I mostly play solo, but I am a very strong believer in that. I think that all dungeons should be 5-man, because like the thing is, I remember back in the day. No, you kids, get off my lawn. When everyone got their asses kicked in AC story. Like I remember all the videos coming out of like the press trying to do it and just getting wiped, and it was great. And then like I remember spending 3 hours in AC story, getting my ass kicked in Cordicus Manor, and it was challenging. It was fun, and I think that having the dungeons say right, you can actually do content that we made to be played with friends or with other random people. You can now do it solo. I kind of think it takes away a little bit from the multiplayer aspect of the game, and on top of that, sorry for ragging on, but to me the story modes were all about teaching people how to play in groups and almost preparing them for the explorable modes. And
That's a really good point.
I mean,
It's
granted,
just a raw. I completely understand what you're
Yeah.
saying, but it's just a raw story. It's just
Yeah.
because it's part of your personal story. You cannot finish the game. You cannot get your ending
that's
sequence, the
true.
credits rolling, your final, yay, we defeated Zaitan, without doing a raw dungeon. And there's people who just don't like doing dungeons. There's people.
that's fair enough. I
So
can
if
completely
it was
appreciate
all
that.
story modes, I would be like, why? No, I completely
I
understand
think-
what you're saying, but because
Yeah, but-
you have to do a raw story.
Do you think it's
that's
kind
why
of
I
to
like
make it flow in with stuff, right? Like it's a chapter of your story, and through Living World, that's chapters of your story, and through the expansion, that's also going to be chapters of your story.
Yeah.
And all of them you can do with a party, or you can do on your own. And so maybe it's this whole thing of just making it flow, so you can go from start to finish doing it all solo, without ever having to have a group to play through your story. because obviously your story continues in season 2 and goes into the expansion as well. So maybe that's just their way of making it flow better. It'd be weird that halfway through your story, you know, not even the Heart of Thorns one, because I can imagine that's all going to be optionally group content as well.
Yeah.
That you'd have to have 5 people to play with at this one chapter right at the end of your personal story. It's weird. And so maybe it is just to streamline it. So for people coming in, they're going to be able to start their tutorial instance and go from there, play solo right up until the end of the expansion, which I can totally understand people might want.
But
And I mean, I think a lot of people, I mean, obviously you do dungeons loads, Alex, right? Like, and I think a lot of people who are complaining about the change are kind of, you know, they're kind of hardcore people that play dungeons all the time and are really into that kind of stuff, and that's what the explorable stuff's for. This is just going to be the story, and I can totally understand why certain people only play the game for the story, and they might just want to do it solo, and they should at least have the option. You can still do the story with a group if you want. It's not like they're not locking it so you have to be solo. Like, please leave your party to kill this dragon.
But also, like, I mean, like having like a solo option for all of the dungeons does make sense for the personal story thing, because if you do just want to do solo content as optional, you know, is that as you're leveling up, you get little mails in your mailbox announcing that this dungeon is opening, and each one of those dungeons has important, like, not necessary story content, but important story content, especially for learning about all the members of Destiny's Edge as you're leveling up. And if you have the option to do those dungeons solo as a sort of like really kind of easy kind of breeze through way, just so you can get that story thing. And if you don't want the, you know, challenge stuff, you just want to check it out and go through it. You know, well, I think that's a really great option.
I think it is only a raw though, isn't it? It is only a raw that's becoming.
It is only a raw. Now that I think about it more, I think it should be all story modes.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
I take that back. Yeah, now that I think about it, it should be.
There's only a few kind of your personal story instances, you know, in the open world kind of thing that you really meet Destiny's Edge, and that's a really good point. I mean, they're with you there at the end and stuff, and it's like you should get to know them. You should be able to get to know them through the dungeon stories on your own, you know, as you're going through. So yeah, maybe they should change all of the stories to optional group content.
I would love it.
It completely defeats the point of it being an online game, though. If you're creating an introduction to multiplayer content that can be soloed.
Yeah, but there's
But the events.
There's still so much in the game that has to be multiplayer. You can't take on a world boss solo. You can't do the explorable path solo.
I don't mind. Like, I can totally see your points, and at first I was totally like that, but I just think, like, for us and for people like us, veterans of the game, people who've been playing, you know, for ages and ages, there's no need for this. This won't affect us in any way, and like, this is just gonna be for the few new players that don't want to party up or don't want to get bombarded. And do the story, and they're having to do all this, you know, we're trying to speedrun the story, come on noob, like all this stuff, like, because that's what that's what LFG parties are like a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And because this is their alt they're playing on, they just want to zoom through it as fast as possible, and it's like, oh, you're not skipping the cutscenes, like, kick them out the party.
Right.
You know?
And it puts pressure on the person who actually wants to watch the story.
And if this is like, if you've been working up the personal story to reach this big finale, you don't want to be having people shout at you for trying to enjoy it, for how it was designed and stuff. Like, I just think it's an option. It's an option for people who want to play like that, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it's not going to affect anyone who doesn't like it. So I don't know.
It's like just like with like the, because like with like the Scarlet fight, for instance, like if they could implement that kind of option much more, and for the things, because like if you wanted to have a big kind of raid type challenging fight, you could do that by like defeating all the 3 bosses things, and then you go up onto her ship, and then you...
Anyway,
right,
what were we talking about?
We were having heavy
Before
debate.
invoking the power of the moon.
We were having heavy debate about whether story dungeon instances should be soloable. I say yes.
Yes!
Yes.
It should be an option, right? It can't hurt if
it's optional. And you have the explorable modes. You have the explorable modes. That's your hardcore dungeon content, you know, or as hardcore as Guild Wars 2 gets. And then, because like for me, like I've only done the story instances once, and like I don't really remember a lot of the story, and I've wanted to go back and like watch all the cutscenes and get the story, Destiny's Edge, all that stuff, but I wouldn't go and play them again. I would just go to YouTube and watch them and watch someone's playthrough, watch the cutscenes. I'm not, but if they were soloable, I would go play them.
Yeah,
but that's just
weirdly.
Me.
Weirdly, I did videos about 9 months ago, and I cut together all of the herald letters and the cutscenes for the first 6 dungeons or so. I've just not got around to doing a riot. Yeah, they're all there somewhere. They got no views either, so I think people just enjoy playing it and redoing it. But
I'll go view.
I'll view it. No, I got to go hunt for it now.
I think I think that if people wanted, really wanted it, then fine. I'm not too present. It's not like I do a lot of. It's not like I play the story modes a lot anyway. It's not going to make a huge difference to my life, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
No one says.
Sorry, I was just going to say that it's like something that Carbine did with WildStar that I really appreciate from them is that they very much from the get-go wanted to have a lot of the main story points as always soloable, so anyone can jump in there. But the really hardcore content will be like the big raids, but they kind of basically had the philosophy that most raiders and people that want challenging group content tend to not care that much for MMO storylines.
Yeah.
And those that do often don't want to do like 40-man raids and what have you, because they just want to take their time and have pretty stories and go, oh, enemy, okay, click.
That's why I think they did the Scarlet instance perfectly, because you could solo it or you could go in a group.
Bring people in with you. Yeah.
And that's pretty much the entire personal story. Is you can either solo it or do it as a group. You have the option.
Yeah.
And all of the living story stuff, like throughout season 2, was the same, and I can imagine it's going to be the same in Heart of Thorns. And I just think it's good to have a format for them all, rather than some things. This one instance requires you to have 5 people. It just doesn't hurt anyone. It just will only help out the people that don't want to get a group together. So
yeah,
I'm all for it.
Yep.
Do it, ArenaNet. Do it.
I shall bow to popular opinion.
Yes, you shall.
Peer pressure. Bow before.
Go and hide in my elitist box in the corner. People playing games and min-maxing exotic games.
You're not hardcore, damn
it. Yeah.
What was next on the agenda?
Actually, that's about all I had written down. Unless anybody else has any.
There were a few bits about chapter 6, 7, and 8 with the personal story.
Yeah.
There was some bits that they changed, and they got rid of a story step called My Greatest Fear, which they're putting back in now, I believe, because it essentially messed up a whole bunch of people's stories, and it's kind of a bit weird. Let's see it. I'm just looking on the wiki here.
I think it locked things out, so because they put it to every 10 levels, the flow wasn't the same, and they took away this chapter, and so you would come across a person or something, and then in the next step you would be meeting them for the first time and stuff. It just screwed the order around loads.
Yeah.
And because it was split across different instances all compiled into one, I think some of them should have been in other places, and there was this big linking one that wasn't put in. So yeah, they're bringing it back, and they also said they were going to be re-recording a lot of the voice acting and stuff for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's going to be good. Moving on, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Some nice new voice clips for Traherne to say.
Yeah, there was 4. I think there was 4 characters in Traherne, the Pale Tree, and 2 other characters. They were changing some voice acting. They were redoing it.
Yeah.
And they're changing some camera angles. I don't know if they were going to fix the thing where like when you meet Destiny's Edge in Lion's Arch and it's destroyed, even though it wasn't destroyed.
And see, that's
I don't think that's being fixed because they said that was a technical issue that they couldn't really get around. So
yeah, I mean the thing is, in all likelihood, Lion's Arch is going to be rebuilt in 3 months' time anyway. So I don't think it's going to be a massive issue, even though it has been like that for a year.
Has it been like that for a year? Really?
It's been a year. Yeah.
Wow.
It's been a year that Lion's Arch has been destroyed.
There's been very subtle
I
changes
still
to
think,
it.
yes, there has been changes.
Yeah.
I still don't think it should go from how it is now to completely back to normal. There still needs to be
it
more
should be-
steps in between.
Yeah.
But it's at least been long enough now so that if they do bring it back to normal sometime like this year, I think it has been long enough. But I wouldn't mind
Yeah,
if
I
it stayed
think
like
so.
that for a lot longer.
Yeah.
I think, well,
Scarlet
Part of the
was
whole
here.
Yeah.
part of the whole Zephyrite
Like
effort,
giant
though, was
shining letters.
part of the whole Zephyrite effort, though, was that the Zephyrites were here and they were helping us rebuild Lion's Arch, and
Oh, right.
and then things happened.
And
there were
then
crystals.
now they're
Sylvari were
not
involved,
anymore.
and
Yeah. I actually would really like for them to leave it, like, or at least to take ages to build it back up. I'm
Yeah.
in no rush to see it rebuilt. I think the sooner it's rebuilt is kind of gonna devalue the fact that it was destroyed in the first place, right? If it was an instant change, it's kind of like, it's not that big a deal. Then.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done
plus-
for April Fool's Day, put Lion's Arch back.
Oh my god, that would have been incredible.
And
Like,
then
just
the
to
next
say
day
that
it's destroyed
it's
again.
back again.
It's gone.
That's a really good one.
Would you guys want though, like when Lion's Arch does eventually get restored, would you want it to go back exactly how it was, or would you want it to actually have a kind of new look, nothing totally different, but since it's being rebuilt, why not have it a little different, which is something that I kind of hope.
Yeah, I like the kind of the middle ground, kind of almost where it is now, where you can see that it was attacked and destroyed by something,
Battle
but it's still fairly functional,
It's still fun.
right?
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
don't want it to
agreed.
be all pristine and like it had been before. I want it to look like it was wrecked, man.
I think
Shadow in
But-
chat said, I'm hoping they work in pieces of the
I
Breachmaker
was
into the
just thinking
rebuild
that,
of
yeah.
Lion's Arch. Something to show that we acknowledge
Oh, that
our
would be
failure to
cool.
protect the city and will not let it happen again. I
Brilliant.
love that.
That's a
that
brilliant
is
idea.
perfect.
love it.
idea.
I was just thinking that, Shadow, you mind thought stealer.
Yeah,
Suck it out of your brain.
But
that's awesome.
I think again, if they are saving it for Heart of Thorns, it's going to bring people back into Pacteria. Because let's be honest, once Heart of Thorns launches and everyone gets to the main city, everyone's going to be hanging out in the Golden City or one of the Hylek, kind of tribal places or wherever, and just saying, "Oh, we rebuilt Lion's Arch." Everyone's going to go, "Lion's Arch, you say? Let's go and have a look, shall we?" I think it'd be cool, but it's probably going to be post. I think it's going to be post-release.
Also, guild halls. I mean, a lot of people are going to hang around there.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
So it would be a good way to make people go, Lion's Arch is still here, guys. Look, we've got all this new stuff now.
Let's chill out in Lion's Arch.
Come hang out. Lion's Arch misses you. All this stuff.
Look, from Lion's Arch with
I don't really mind. I'm one of those people, and I've said it before about characters dying, but I love the fact that it was destroyed. I love those really hard-hitting story events that change stuff dramatically, and that can be a character death or the death of a city, like we saw with Lion's Arch. And so I don't know. I'm not that eager to see it rebuilt that much. I would if they were to say actually it might just stay like this. They're kind of fed up of rebuilding Lion's Arch 8 million times, so it's just gonna stay like this. Okay, that's totally cool with me because it means we're gonna get players being like, oh, what happened here? And they're gonna go look up the story. Someone will tell them and it's oh, that's so cool.
And for future chapters and stories, it makes you scared because you don't know what's going to happen. They destroyed the main city of the game. What are they? They're not scared to do anything.
Exactly. You have this event looming over you, Lion's Arch being destroyed. Every time there's an update or there's a new villain or anything like that, Mordremoth awakes. You're always going to have all these things that are still relevant and you still see every time you play the game that are going to be oh, they're going to do something like that, or they're going to destroy this or that. It's super cool. And everyone who was there and has the Hero of Lion's Arch title and all this stuff, if that was rebuilt, you'd be walking around and it's just, no one would ask, no one would wonder what happened to it, no one would even know it was attacked, and I don't want that to go, I want people to see it and wonder what happened, because it adds a lot of depth to the story and stuff like that, and it means a lot more people are going to hang around and see what happens next, and it's just good all around.
Well, you know what? Sorry, this was to be really quick. I was just thinking about when thinking about cities being restored and or altered and whatnot. Something I would love to see is that big dome that's in the Black Citadel. If that could get completely finished up, And then if the char could put rocket thrusters on it, and they could blast up and fly over to the Underwood Jungle and become a char Death Star, and just like...
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I want that.
I was going to say, JD Shadow says they could build a new Lion's Arch where it's more fortified than that. Well, I think that was if you read Sea of Sorrows, that's what they originally did with, because Lion's Arch that was just destroyed was New Lion's Arch anyway, wasn't it? It was built up over 20 years by Kabaya Mariner and Izay and Nadobo and all the rest of them.
Yeah, after
so, but yeah, you can just imagine big steel walls made from bits of the Breachmaker, and Claw Island looks like the island from hell.
The Char Star, sorry, I just been...
The Char Star.
The DeathCharr, man, that's what it should be called.
The DeathCharr. The DeathCharr.
I think DeathCharr is a good place to end it. We will continue in the post-show discussion, but we are at our hour, a choppy hour. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for the post-show if you're watching live on Twitch, and we will see you guys next Wednesday at 1 p.m. EDT for another Guild Gab. See you next time, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.